Planet Vero Studio is powered by the Nolan Group of RE/MAX Associated Realty. MyNextHomeFinder.com.
Welcome to Veterans Helping Veterans, a service of Veterans Council of Indian River County. And here's your host, Martin Zickert.
Hey, folks. It is a kind of a nasty Tuesday out. It's rainy, just enough to be irritating, just enough to cause accidents because people have no idea how to drive in the rain. They forget that the streets have a lot of oil on them, and as soon as there's rain on it, it gets slick. So today we're doing something a little bit different. Everybody that listens to this program knows that we are stopping the program after 3 years. We're stopping it the 1st of November. October is a busy month. I've got October booked already. We've got the Navy is doing the SEAL Museum muster, which is always a hoot. I always show up. I wouldn't miss it. They are a great group of folks. Then on Veterans Day, which is a holiday, it's a school holiday. I looked it up this morning, and so we'll have the band, and we'll have a number of things going on. We are going to have a dedication of a World War I soldier. It's a typical pose of World War I with his bayonet. I had two uncles in World War I. One of them was 16. He got his mother to sign for him. One of them got gassed, and at 16, he lost all his hair. And it never came back. The other one had been a AAA baseball player, was a pitcher. Very, very accomplished, one step away from the majors, but he went to war and never played baseball again. It's much like the World War II guys. Ted Williams, greatest hitter ever, Marine Corps pilot, went to war. That was what you did back then. So what we're doing is today is I'm going to take advantage of the time. Next week, I have Eric Flowers on, our sheriff. He and I have done a lot of stuff together, and I wanted him to be on, and Jim Romanak, my executive director, is going to be on. We have the sporting clay shoot coming up October 16th. We are doing really well. We've got 25 teams already, and it is going great guns. It's out at 82nd because the county's course, unfortunately, burned up when they had the fire this summer. So we've got a lot of things going on again. We've got a couple of events like that coming up. Veterans Day is always a big day, and it's on I want to say it's on a Thursday this year. Veterans Day, of course, moves around, so it's a little difficult. You just never really know what's going on. We just went through POW MIA Day on the 17th of September. If you go by our store in the mall, we still have the table up for the POW MIA table. The store in the mall. I wanted to take this show to kind of tell you what we do. A lot of people are familiar with the Veterans Council. They know, oh yeah, I've heard about them. And what they don't really understand is, what do we do? Because I have been on the board of directors since 2008. So, been a while. And we started out, all that we really did back in 2008 timeframe was we took veterans down to West Palm to the hospital. We had 2 buses, and we took them down to the hospital. We did Veterans Day, and we did Memorial Day. And that was pretty much it. That's really all we really did. We had a budget of around 85,000. We didn't have an executive director. We didn't have a lot of the things that we do now. And that budget came from the county, who paid for the bus drivers. We had a couple of bus drivers. You had to have a CDL back then because we had big buses, and the county financed that. So we have grown, and it's been I can't tell you why, other than we've got a bunch of dedicated veterans and have had them. When I left in 2014, when my wife unfortunately had terminal cancer, Tony Young stepped up and took over. Later became mayor. Sam Coons stepped up, and then I'm back as the chairman of the council. The council back then, you had to beg and plead with people, please be on the council. We really need some help. And you'd get somebody who would finally say, oh, okay, I'll do it. And then things started getting a little interesting as we got Doy Demsick showed up, and Doy was a Marine public affairs guy. And we started going, he can write some really cool articles. And we started doing some really neat things. And it grew. The council grew. We now have 28 organizations. 28. That's a bunch. Now, some of them are ones and twos. Yep. But we have some very dedicated ones. We've got a group called the Next Gen. And Next Gen is primarily made up of Iraq and Afghan veterans. When I went to Vietnam, actually I went to the Philippines, you were gone for a year, and that was it. These kids, and I say kids, it's totally different. When we moved, Penny and I moved back to Pensacola area, my next door neighbor was a young man who had just gotten out of the Air Force because he had had 11 short tours to various places. And his wife finally said, it's either me or the Air Force. And he was fortunate enough to get a job in his career field in Pensacola, so it worked out. The problem in the military, you are part of a group, and you're very close. It doesn't make any difference whether you're black, white, green, Indian, yellow, whatever it is. As long as you got my back, that's all I care about. And that's the way the military works. There is a lot of the military I've found, if you try to explain to a civilian what the military is like, I've never been able to do it. And part of it is the fact I spent 30 years. During that 30 years, I moved 23 times. And your wife is the most important thing going because she's the one that runs the house. And the sooner you learn that, the better off you're going to be. And I'll give you an example. When I went to Germany in 1981, I left in March. She didn't get to leave until school was over in May. She moved. She got everything moved, got everything packed. They came in and did the packing and everything. She was the kind of woman that was able to put a house together in 2 days. I know there's some places I used to watch, and everybody's different, but that was her thing. She was really good at it. So she could put a house together, including pictures. Pictures were hung, everything was done, the garage was cleaned out, and you could put the cars in. It was impressive. But that was kind of the life that you lead in the military. So the Indian River Veterans Council, what we primarily do is we become the place where you can come as a veteran and we have your back. we have grown significantly, and we've got a couple of major programs now. When I've been through the whole thing and watched it just grow, and you keep going, this is so cool. And it's that way because there's no other organization that I've found anywhere in Florida that is like us. I was up with Bill Posey, Congressman Posey, a couple of weeks ago, talking, and you would think that Brevard County, having Patrick Air Force Base, would be just a hub of activity for veterans, and it's not. The guy that sat next to me said, "Oh yeah, I'm the president of the Veterans Council," and that's the last I ever heard of him. So, don't know what he does. So, I'm going to tell you where we're at now, what we've done in the last 3 years that we've been talking on the radio. And let's take a break, and we'll come back after the sponsors.
If you want a home that has the style of the coast and captures the essence of island living, come to Sunshine Furniture for the Tommy Bahama and Lexington half-price fall sale event. Now until September 30th, you save 50% on bedroom, dining room, and occasional furniture with fresh finishes and rich textures, all made from materials that invite you to make your life one long weekend. Our showroom is filled with the largest selection of coastal furniture on the Treasure Coast, including any style of slipcover sofas, sleeper sofas, love seats and chairs by Four Seasons and Capri, all in stock for immediate delivery. We specialize in outdoor furniture built to withstand the Florida elements, including fire pits, umbrellas, and outdoor rugs. All pictures, lamps, and accessories are half price. Sunshine Furniture, $12.95 US 1 in Vero Beach, next to Planet Fitness. Visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com.
Sunshine Furniture, the best in every way. Have a sunshine day. Sunshine.
You can trust Sandpiper Pest Control, serving Indian River, St. Lucie, and Brevard. Certified by the state of Florida to treat homes, lawns, and termites. Fully licensed and insured. Priced right, effective, and friendly.
Hi, this is Joel, the owner of Sandpiper Pest Control. Sandpiper can solve your pest issues. No contracts to sign, just results.
Call for a free estimate, 772-589-0204. Sandpiper Pest Control, a member of the iTex trading community. Your iTex dollars are welcome.
It's time to call Easy Brew Coffee and Bottled Water Service and learn just how much you can save and how convenient it is to have your coffee and bottled water delivered right to your home or office. In addition to water coolers, Easy Brew offers individual bottles of water in 8 or 16-ounce bottles. No more lugging it home or dragging it into the office. Serving the Treasure Coast for over 2 decades, 2 letters, 1 simple name. Easy for Easy Brew. Visit e-zbrew.com or call 800-792-3285. Easy Brew.
Well, when I talked about where we were going, what we were doing, I didn't realize that we had this program running for 3 years. If you figure 52 weeks times 3 years, that's 150 different guests that I've had. That's a pretty fair amount. And the program got started primarily because we tried to get out in front of people and say, hey, we're here. After 3 years, you need to make a change, and so we are. So we're doing some things that are modern. I hate to say this isn't modern, but it isn't. And we have hired a young lady to give us a hand with stuff, and that is things like Instagram. I have a vague idea of what it is. TikTok. She knows how to do all of this stuff. And so we said, how about coming to work with us? And so we hired her, a consultant. We only have 2 people that are hired hands. That is Executive Director Jim Romanek. And Jim has been with us a little over a year and a half. First time we've had an Executive Director that has had the name as the Executive Director. We had Bruce Cady, Doy Demsick, then Bruce Cady, and they were not executive directors. They ran the programs. We've developed a couple of really good programs. We have, in 2010, the buses that we had were worn out. One of them had mold in it. The other one, the speedometer hadn't worked. And the VA told us we had to get a couple new buses. Jeff Luther, who was the public affairs guy for the sheriff at the time, found us two buses that had been at Guantanamo, of all places. They were equipped with lifts and top-of-the-line everything. And one of them was $3,000 or 3,000 miles, and the other one had 8,000 miles. And through some great contributions, Tom Core, bless his heart, my wife worked for him, George E. Warren Corporation, and you'll see them everywhere, took care of one of the buses. And I went, wow, how cool is this? So people like that started coming out of the woodwork at 10 years ago, and a lady named Sandy Johnson called up and said, I'd like to make a contribution. And I said, sure. So she sent a check for $10,000. The Veterans Council had never, ever had money for anything else. We had saved up $70,000, took 7 years to do it. and all of a sudden we have $10,000. And I'm going, wow, cool. Put it in the bank, got a credit card, and within a week, a young couple showed up, Iraq veteran, disabled, not 100%, but disabled, had 2 kids, had been donated a modular home in Sebastian, and they were going to spend the night in the car with those 8-year-old and 10-year-old. And I had $10,000 and went, wow. That started a program which now we have put out over $300,000 into. It's called Veterans Helping Veterans. And that's basically what it is. It is a program that is an emergency fund. You can't make a house payment, and Lord knows what's happening with COVID. I have no idea how that's going to work out. We've put out over $90,000 already just in COVID money. So right now they're going through mediation, which we really don't get involved in, on homes, so you don't get thrown out of your apartment or your house. And we have done, we've got a limit on it. It's designed to be a one-time event. If you couldn't pay for it now, how are you going to do next month? So if you can't do that, I'm sorry, we can't help you. We're not taking you to raise. So that program has been so effective. We've got Kathy Alston has been the person running that program. We have, as I learned the hard way, we got to have people taking care of it and investigating, because sad to say, there are veterans out there that will take advantage of it. So we've got all that set up. And then we started another program for people that we realized it was going to take more money than just a one-time payment. And we made an application to the group called Impact 100, and we won it a couple of years ago. And it's $100,000, and it's designed to last 2 years. We found people out there. We found an 85-year-old World War II couple that didn't have air conditioning. So there's a lot of good companies floating around in Vero Beach that you need to get familiar with. We found them, they helped us, they did it wholesale, and it went absolutely great. So we won that. We spent the $100,000 in 9 months. So that's the kind of need. The problem we have is that veterans are horrible about saying, I need help. They're terrible at that. So we have to go out and find them, and they're out there. So, and it takes your help to find these people. So this year, we won Impact 100 again. So we're 2 for 2. That's pretty fair. And we're finding people that haven't had running water in their house in 2 years. They were taking those 5-gallon plastic things that you fill up at Publix, and that was their water supply. There was another one out there that didn't have septic, didn't have a sewer system. So what we're able to do is go to the organizations within Indian River County and say, here's a problem, we need your help. It has expanded. So we will start again finding people that need help, helping those people. And thank goodness for things like Impact 100, Johns Island Foundation, and organizations that are out there that understand veterans, and we need the help. So that's one of the reasons that we started this program 3 years ago, was to be able to say, hey, do you know? One of the coolest things that I've been able to do as the chairman is to bring in civilians to our board of directors. We found ourselves veterans are not good fundraisers. That's not our thing. We break things and shoot people. So fundraising was a foreign thing to us. And we brought in, the very first person was Laura Moss, who was at the time on the city commission or city council, president or the mayor, and then she got elected to the county commission. Then we brought in Tracy Zudans, we brought in Samantha Brackett, and we just brought in Casey Lunsford, who is the president of Indian River County College. So what I'm looking for is a board of directors that understands veterans. Samantha grew up as a military brat. Casey understands veterans. Tracy understands veterans. So it's a learning process. So we have a board of 11 people. We have 8 of them now that are veterans, and we're coming up with an election next month. We have 3 civilians. Boy, do they have a different perspective. So that's part of the thing that we're doing is, what is it you do? What is it you bring? I'm trying to get the board of directors that it's more than a figurehead. It is a group that does things, and we are getting there. It is a work in progress, as all things are, but we have been able to move our offices, and we're in the old courthouse now. Really nice quarters. We can bring them in. We've done a lot of good activities. We've gotten away from some of the stereotypical things that you do. And we are a growing organization. As I said, when I started in this, $80,000 was our budget. Our budget now is $450,000. We're raising it. We're helping veterans in Indian River County, and that's what our goal is. That's where we want to end up. We want to be able to have people say, go to the Veterans Council. They can help you. I ran into a kid the other day that never heard of us, needed money, didn't know we existed. I want you to spread the word that the Veterans Council is alive, well, has money, and is here to help veterans of all ages. We're here. We're happy. I want to thank you for the 3 years that I've been able to do this show. I thank you for Telly, who was with me originally till COVID showed up. We've done it. We've been here. Thank you so much for everything.